it pretty to think so? Oh, yeah.
Isn't it pretty to think so? Pretty to think so. Oh yeah. Isn't it pretty to think so?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it pretty to think so? Isn't it pretty to think so? Isn't it pretty to think so? You and me.
Isn't it pretty to think so?
Where you are tonight. She wants me to get off the train, tell her hi, how I've been, why. I don't call her anymore when I've been by her part of town, yeah, her part of the night sky. Partly because I don't want to fuck up my high. Even though I'd like to have kids with her, have a son and make him a kid sister. When the rain pours down and the lights flicker, and I throw away a possible life with her, cause I'm in Chi-Town for another tour, in a hotel room with another. Or I don't really want to say it, but I've always been a weak soul when a cheap touch come around looking like love, maybe so. I've been chasing what I seen in the videos, when your chest might break from the butterflies, circling your stomach hurting on the inside, but her stomach is just a belly button ring, and her brain is college boys and studying, and I'm in for one night and then gone. Troubled teens past the pen for my theme song, and some nights I get my California dream on, knowing you're trying your best not to move on. But I will understand when the dream's gone and some boy puts his heart where I went wrong. And I'll stand in the rain in Cleveland, hoping I can wash away these demons, hoping you'll talk to me when I plead and I scream in the phone, hoping that you're going to leave him. One of them has to leave. One of them has to leave. Isn't it pretty to think so? Where you are tonight. I was supposed to be married and a few more promotions in to my corporate career by now, but I just got back from the chess club. COVID rocked my world. My personality. Yeah, I'm just normal enough to fit in and nod my head to corporate politics during normal times. But doesn't take much to tip me over that edge. Or I struggle to get along with people. So we are. I want to know, December chess. I'm 30 years old. Magnus Carlsen, I think, is 35. He's still by far the best. Hasn't fallen off, if he has, not much. I've heard some people think Viswanathan Anand, if he had something to prove still, can turn it up and be close to his peak, even though he's probably 50. And I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to try to record more after I lose, though I'm not a pleasant individual. It's part of improving. Got to get more consistent. Not happy with losing, but same routines, same energy, same attitude when I lose. And I could tell this kid I played is going to be pretty good. It's apparent when you can tell a kid's got the right demeanor, some guidance, picks things up quickly, knows when he's beat. Sometimes it's not so easy to recognize when you're beat. I know I didn't always. That's one of the concerns I have for myself long term. If I get a chance to do this past 1800, some of these kids, and now there's been enough time where some of them I've seen figure out, get to my level or better, that started where I was at during the COVID variants, 2022. And one of the tells to me, if I were looking for chess talent, is early on, can they tell when they're beat? Because they're going to lose a lot. We all lose a lot when we're starting. Which ones can tell when they're beat?
before the king is trapped, the materials way lost. Who has a pretty good sense for when they're beat, when they get the, and when they do that, is it a pouty thing or is it a, gosh, I had him, and this kid was, my prediction, he'll be pretty good, because you recognize when he was beat, and it wasn't that obvious for a 1200 rated player, and he kept fighting, had a good attitude, and you could just tell he's the type to learn quickly. Also, a reminder for me, maybe I don't need to play chess this weekend, because I wouldn't say I almost lost, but I didn't feel good. It was a longer time control, which I haven't played in, I guess, 9 months, has something to do with it. But this is a reminder of why I'm confident in my plan, which is to get to 1800. I know I can get to 1800. Anyone can get to 1800. They're willing to put in, years, depending on your ability or natural talent. Anyone can get to 1800, though. And at that point, just watching kids and some adults, even some adults who are retired, are scary. They were pretty good when they were my age, started a family, like maybe I need to do, had a career, and now that they're retired, have some money saved, they're getting back into chess. And a few in that boat scare the crap out of me too, because they're at lectures while I'm at work and trying to take care of my dog. Their kids are growing up and stuff, so they have more time for chess. That's why I'll get to 1800, and at that point, I could still improve being young, working, even start a family, but it would be hell. I'm not going to put myself through it. The marginal improvements don't help me, don't prove anything more about the adult brain. From 1800 to 1900 or even 2000, if it takes me a long time to get there, 1800 is a very good number that could justify an investment in me, or a project. I would kind of prefer justifying a project who is more me 5 years ago, because I wasted all that COVID time playing online chess. I didn't have any training. I'm not saying online chess is a waste of time, but if one had lectures and access to grandmasters like there are at the St. Louis Chess Club to teach and not develop bad habits early, combined with just reps online, that would be a lot better than the 2 years I wasted. And I would love to see what a 25-year-old could do. Whatever science says is the age where the adult brain is fully developed, male or female. I think it's slightly different. Whatever that age is, get someone there. You can learn from my mistakes, but most importantly, get them started on the right foot. So I'm all until 1800. Trying not to worry too much about my rating, though. It might sound like I am worried about my rating. Oh, 1800, he's got to get there. Every game gets closer. What if he loses to someone lower rated, then he goes back? It helps me, because I know even if I lost to that 1256, which the rating estimator is probably a dangerous tool for a brain like mine, because I can always guess what would happen if I win, lose, or draw before the game. Try to avoid that. But had I lost, I'd definitely be back under 1600. Yeah. So not as low as I figured. But had I lost that game, it would have been 1582. So, but it's fine, because even if I had lost, I'm showing up. I'm going to play to decide to withdraw from an event. That's something some people would do, though. I don't blame them. But if I'm paired against a 900, I will play as hard as I can, and then I will have something to analyze. If I'm paired against an 800 or a master at 2200 or above, I will be there until I reach 1800. It doesn't matter. I won't quit, because I know that's very doable. And the faster I get to 1800, which means, of course, you got to take your losses. I'll do something stupid. I'm still a Class B player. The faster I get there, the faster I can give up, move on with my life, or get a chance to really, not that I haven't been serious, but focus on chess. And I will absolutely do it for all incentives. Don't want to claim me. I say some crazy stuff. I understand. Take Eminem as an example. How many white rappers got into it because of Eminem? How many people didn't want Eminem to get signed at all? And signing the person who just fits the build of what the industry currently wants will never, ever get numbers up for that industry. It just doesn't happen. So incentives would add 1,800 and then start them at 1,900. I can tell my mom I have a fucking job in chess. All incentives. I don't know that I'd quit my job because otherwise I'd gamble. So I don't really need money. I don't know. At 1,800, we'll see how I'm feeling. I have the option to quit. But it would mean a lot as an adult to be able to go on a date or tell my family, I'm not just playing chess at the club for fun, though I still probably would. I just wouldn't play rated games anymore because I'm not going to risk my rating if I'm not training seriously. Okay. Let's play a blitz game or two. I wrote my notations during the lecture after the game. Grandmaster Dinesh Boros is giving a fabulous lecture to seemingly beginners. I will put those into the engine. I didn't play well, but I wanted to play chess anyway. So it got a little complicated, which is usually the best way to approach under 1,300 players, maybe even slightly above that. You want to play chess, kind of like the stronger players often prefer freestyle chess because there's no memorization or opening theory. That's a similar approach one might want to take at my level when paired against an athlete 200 to 300 rating points lower. They're decent. And they're probably taking some lessons. But if you haven't played them before, you don't have any clue which part of their game is strong or not. But you do know they probably don't love the thought of playing chess, meaning letting it get crazy. That's good practice for me. What is this nonsense? I was thinking about going there. Yeah, now I can't, right? Huh. What do you want? That's what you should probably do. It's a good move. Can you attack it from a light square? See, because I want to be here and here. I think I handled that pretty well. I can even, if you try to go there, that would throw a wrench in my plans. But if you try to stick here, yeah, that's a good move. Okay, the bishop doesn't want to move unless it goes there. I guess it could. Here, you're going to try to set up some cheap stuff, probably. Go ahead. If you don't take, I will cut it off. Kind of want you to take, but it's not that important. Really? And a pawn's a pawn, no. I'm just gonna go. I'd play that. Since you're in time trouble, you're gonna play something fast. I wouldn't make a piece move because you don't know what you want to do, and your bishop's not gonna move, run into a wall. Fine. Nah. Seeing that you're in time trouble, you don't recognize the pin. If you don't take them here immediately, why don't you push that and trap yourself? Okay. I have the fork. Your rook is there. I don't have the fork. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, but the opponent was in time trouble. I go back and forth. Sometimes I think I need to try to win and play properly online, and then other times, or I mean, win by any means necessary. So, like I said, I know I should take that pawn, but the opponent's in time trouble. I just win the game. Should I just win in the easiest way possible, or should I actually try to play properly? Not compare this to fast and slow twitch muscle fibers in physical sports. I grew up being taught and it being proven to me as much as you could, show some, I guess, sports science to a young person. Explain muscle fibers and stuff. If you want to do explosive stuff, you don't train your slow twitch muscle fibers. Period. End of conversation. Get what we're supposed to do there. Why? Why does that make it bad though? A4. I don't know, man. Looks pretty difficult from a human perspective. But in chess, it seems like you can toggle in and out of different modes, and that's weird to me because I always was told you're training for speed, you're training for endurance. But I guess the mind is a little different than leg or arm muscles. Who knows, man? I'm just figuring it all out as I go here. All right. Something I do need to do in blitz chess, I need to mix up my openings. Why not get some value? So you want 94. Yeah, because 94, duh. Rook c7. Yeah, that pawn's clearly more valuable. Rook c8. I get it. D takes on e5. Yeah, goodness. I just played for 2 hours and sat there for another hour, so I will take that as my excuse this time. And that move obviously is a mistake. The moves I need to cut out. Those types of moves, not because they're always bad, but because that's kind of my go-to. In speed chess, if I don't see something immediately, and I know there's no danger if I play f5, I love to do it. And when I have time to think about the board, that will be punished if it's not appropriate. So I need to think more about the F pawn push, or at least when I don't have a clear reason for it. All right, 2051. Then we will input my game here. Also, every now and then I get a member of what I call my chess army to join. But if you're watching this, I will do a monthly recap of my over-the-board games. That's the only video I'm committed to until I reach 1800. Do some open mic stuff to relax. If I have time to rehearse the song and memorize the chords, I don't have to read. I hate reading. It's kind of like in public speaking when someone has a script. If you don't have the sheet music or chords figured out before you go to open mic, you should probably just stay home. You can tell I'm too intense. Dayton, it's open mic. There's not professional musicians. There was one guy. He was older, and he has been a professional musician. He's very good. That went to open mic a couple times. So stop. It's okay to be intense. Other than possibly open mic, I will not post anything aside from my monthly over-the-board chess recap video, which will come out. I'd like to do it when the final ratings come out for the month, so the first of the following month. That way I know exactly where I'm at for my little skits. But on my streams here, I will at least input the games, whereas in the recaps, I will go over them a little more thoroughly. And this is a problem because when I'm playing speed chess online, I've been doing that, but I know it's not good. So I knew my options here. I had to decide what I wanted to do. I ruled out bishop. I'm not going to do that. I'm not playing that immediately. I'm either here, I'm here, or, I mean, that kept coming back to me just because I'm familiar with it, or I castle. But pretty quickly I decided I was either going to go here or here because those are the other two. I mean, you could look at my game logs online. Maybe I'm full of shit, but I feel like those, aside from my usual here, those are the two I usually would have played otherwise. So debating between those two. Ended up going bishop c4. It's fine. Longer game. Got plenty of time to think here. But I don't want to use my long thinks that early, preferably. Okay. Still one knight takes on d4. Bishop b6. And I'm just going to keep the bishop pair here, one way or the other. Another thing I mentioned when I said, you can tell the kid might be decent. I'm much higher rated. And I know this isn't a good move. What's about to happen? Oh, sorry. That's what happened. No, that's the best move. It's the best move. You don't want to give up your good knight. A lot of times, especially the younger they are, they will just accept the trades as much as they can. And the knight, I should have castled. I played d3. Let's see, I can't do this shit. d5. And now I've accepted after that move. I'm kind of rolling my eyes, though it's going to be fine. I'm not going to get to castle. Or I'm going, I could castle. I should castle, but I'm going to have some fun. Why not? So bishop b3, knight takes. And what I'm seeing is if he wants to take my castling rights, he's going to have bad pawns. And I'm going to, like I said, get to practice playing chess. You'll see. So a takes on b3, d takes on e4, which in my head I wasn't sure if the robot would. I didn't figure so because of these awful pawns. You know, my bad pawns can become good pretty quickly because they're not isolated and they're not in the center of the board. So 11, either or. If I go here, then the knights will basically stay on the board. If I take with the knight, then it will be the same thing. I'll relinquish my castling rights and have a little bit of compensation in the form of my pawns don't suck. So I chose to take with my pawn. I won't leave the knights on the board. Not because I couldn't target the structure in other ways, but it'll be more immediate, and I just feel good about things. If I can leave my knight on the board, gives me a little more control, and it's a situation where, you know, avoiding the trade doesn't hurt me. A lot of times when we want to win and we want to leave, we try to leave material on the board too much, and we should just accept that chess can become plenty complicated even with trades early on. But this is a situation where it didn't make me any worse. I figured it was about equal, and the robot says it is if I leave the knights on the board, so I chose to do that. And I control something. You know, if I take with my knight, that has to happen. I don't control when or how the knights are traded. But here, I do. Or at least for now, I don't. Let him decide when the knights get traded. Yeah. Any little bit of control, you know. What white man in business jokes. Get it? All right. So then castle check, which I thought the computer would be fine with that, but I figured it would also have some other options too. Because I'm not going to castle anyway, so I'm wanting to do that pretty soon. You didn't gain any time with the castle check, but it's a fine move, I'm sure. A6. Okay, sure. And immediately I'm planning to play that. I've got that in my head as soon as I recognize a few moves ago I'm not going to castle. I'm seeing this happening. And unless something comes up that's better, mainly the opponent does something I'm pretty sure is a mistake, that's going to happen. Let's get some time back. 14 F3. I'm sure. That's fine. Should be 3. Another move where I'm just getting some time back. I know it's fine. Not a lot happening here. I'm more active. The battlefield is not completely clear. So let's not waste time. 15. 56. Oh, sorry. Should be 4. Played knight A4. And what I'm seeing is, I mean, obviously you don't want to push things and leave this pawn backwards. So the reason I put it there is you're not going to kick it with a pawn. And the battlefield isn't clear, so my knight can stay there. Gives my pawn's options to come up. I thought it was fine. Your bishop is lonely. Of course, the knight can come in and check, which it ends up doing. And I don't want to give this bishop away necessarily because we're going to double your pawns. And I end up choosing to do this. That way, this push can't happen unless my pawn's up. I can use this pawn to take. But the issue with that, or what could become the issue with that, is after checks, I don't want to bring my king all the way around to save this pawn if I ever need to push G because my king will get in the way and it'd just be awkward. But also that's a long ways out. Worrying about how to defend this pawn should I need to push my G pawn. So 94. G5. Little aggressive, but again, probably fine. Cops are here. I'm just playing chess. Don't worry about me. 17. H3. Inaccuracy, but what you're going to see, yeah, I thought so. I couldn't decide if I wanted to do it this way or that way. And maybe not the right approach, but with athletes below 1,300, 1,300 is where they don't blunder pieces. Like, there's a chance that 1,200 is going to just blunder something. So if I make that move, of course, I have an idea. I want to try to target the backwards pawn, of course, and it's going to be hard to do that with the bishop. It's impossible because it's on a light square. And that pawn can a little bit more easily be defended. So I get it, but I want to leave myself the option on how I approach getting that bishop out of there. So at least I have a thought process. 17 was h3, knight h5. Okay, fine. Of course, threatening the fork. I can't allow that. And in my head, I was pretty much automatically playing there, but I spent some time because of what I mentioned here. What if I ever want to get that push in and you're here? I'm not going to give my bishop away for reasons I mentioned. So you have a target that's annoying. H5. So that's why I played rook hd1. Though I knew they were both going to be fine. I'd have forced checks to the best move. I wouldn't have played it if I were him. It's a little bit uncomfortable. Of course, at that level, when I played some 1600s and above, if I got a decent position, which black has a fine position, to this point, I'd be a little bit nervous. So I might not have immediately played that. I don't know. But, yeah, sure. I kind of want to hide there anyway. 19, king f2. No, what happened? Rook d6, rook d6. You want me to take it? But I played c3. Who doesn't like that? And rook hd8. Yeah, figured. My thought was if the rooks start getting traded, the bishop would have to come back, and the bishop's going to be running right into this pawn. But I guess the computer wouldn't mind it getting active in other ways. I don't know. Okay, so 20. I just played c3. So knight d3 check, and there's my mistake. Which I thought to make sure, because I knew, I immediately saw the two options. Apparently king g3 still's even fine. But saw my options, of course, here. And then I take, and then you can take. Probably. If you're not trapped, it gets uncomfortable. Rook takes d3, but I figured the better move was here by quite a bit. So that's what I did. And because it's still pinned, it looks like you might be able to save it by takes, and then I take. Or no, sorry, there was something that I was looking at. I mean, I know I'm going to be fine, but I was looking at this. I take, of course, your bishop would want to take back. There were three things I looked at here. Trying to remember. King e2. Knight takes on b2. I mean, I knew that wasn't what you wanted to do, which is what happened. Yeah, that was it. Here. The only way I mess this up, basically, is if this happens and I take it and then you pin it. But what would happen in that little sequence? If you want to take it, take, thinking you pin, you don't. I have check. I'll get your bishop in the corner, which is what happened. But there are ways I could have messed this up. Bishop takes on f3. Rook takes on d3. I could have messed up with here. And then if I go there, you go knight. And then if I go there, your knight could, well, that wouldn't work because your knight could try to check, but then I would have, when I come here, then you take my rook back, then I would take your knight, and I wouldn't be as up, but I'd be completely fine, I figured. So nothing is good for black here. There are ways, I guess there's only one way I can mess it up. Not really. The only way I could have messed it up is if I didn't have this to get out, and then rook can't take. Because my rook would take back, and I would dodge the bishop. So had you already doubled up your rooks, maybe you would have, I don't know. It's bad now. So 21. Yeah, sure, knight takes on b2. And rook takes on d6 is still completely fine. But I figured that was by far the best. Probably not by far. Yeah. So pretty straightforward from here. That's the best. You didn't want me to just take the rook. Oh yeah, because I figured it didn't matter. Because here and then I'm back. And you take my bishop, or take my rook with your bishop, and I'm here, and I still have the same situation. So apparently I made a little mistake there, but it's fine. It's all good. And now I just got to make sure there's no tricks. Or there are no tricks. Make sure I don't do anything to create tricks. King d7. d5 happen. And this is basic. I can do whatever I want, more or less. Here. We'll just input it for content purposes. Takes on c8, king takes on c8, bishop c5. Let's go after these pawns. King d7, boom. Boom. And it doesn't matter, but just for best practice, if I take here, then I don't have that pawn, so you can try to leave me with one pawn on one pawn. It's all good. My king. b5, of course, my bishop will end up having the option to control the promotion square, so there's no problem. 34, bishop f6. d6. g4, h takes, boom. a5, king e4, a4, and I chose to play b4. I could probably do it either way, but it's obviously the best way to do it. Because now that pawn is frozen, your king can't defend or attack my pawn. It's going to have to try to stop this pawn, and there's just no way. King f7. King's on b5. King g6. King c6. b7. B is queen. Okay, e3. Oh shit. That was somehow there. Let's get this right. 5. So 15. Should be 4. King C5 is 41. King F7, king takes on B5. $43. King C6, that's what it was. King G5. B5. There we go. An analysis. Okay. There we go. And played till basically checkmate. That's the gist. Now we will add to my weekly nights. I haven't had that in a while. Pretty consistent. A lot of these folders, I had some rhyme or reason to why I call everything what I did and when I decided to put games from another tournament with the previous tournament. But overall, I think I like using chess.com as like a high-level overview. Just keep chess.com organized. Then on Lead Chess, I will do my deeper stuff with my comments. But as long as I know where to find them in chess.com, so I'm going to do every year, I'm going to call one folder the tournament, and then I will just have dates or iterations of that event. So Sunday rated games for 2026, and then I would just have the date of each game and round. But they will all be in that same Sunday rated folder or weekly nights folder. So just for the sake of consistency, even though this is the last month of the year, I'll call it weekly nights 2025. Let's do that. All right. Okay, details. There we go. Perfect. I don't know why this has changed. There used to be a play button right there before I did anything. I don't speak French. Robot. Translate to English, I'm lazy. There we go. Little offbeat. I can ride my bike with no handlebars. No handlebars. No handlebars. I can keep the rhythm with no metronome. No metronome. No metronome. I can split the atom of a molecule. Of a molecule. Of a molecule. Look at me. Look at me. Just called to say that it's good to be alive. I'm a famous rapper.
Crookedy. Get your dust and dough in. Not a cherry snap. Tell you about leaf episode. Now we can look at how long it took us. I can ride my bike. No handlebars. Lovely. 6, 5, 4, 3. Not quite. Happy New Year. Woo. If I had a chess tournament on New Year, what would I do? It'd be a chess tournament. Not much of that joke. Okay. I'm not as familiar with Lee chess, but I like it. It's not corporatized. It's not for profit. Nothing. I don't have anything against making money. I just know that anything that's designed to make money on devices is also going to do its best to waste as much of our time as possible. Otherwise, you're not going to make as much money. Nothing personal. I get it. I watched The Social Dilemma. Okay. I don't know how I want to organize my Lee chess folders yet. I haven't done that much on Lee chess. I know a lot of top players that use Lee chess for study and planetchess.com. So let's just call it for now. So what do they have? A study, and then within that study is the study basically a folder? Seems like it. Public. Round 2. Let's call it 12_09. Standard. There we go. I got to do PNG. Yeah, that's what I do. All right. Huh. I should edit out the silly dollar signs on its own. Let's see if it does. Of course it does. Woo! I love when things just work how they're supposed to. All right, so now I can add, and I like that feature. I don't think you can do that with chess.com. I can change the comments, or the annotations, I mean. I can add my comments. It's fabulous. I don't know what will happen with AI. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Woo! Got my analysis. They always give it. I think it's just a reminder that they were on donations. Fabulous. Thanks, Jess. I worked in software, but all of this stuff, you don't need any tech ability to do it. I mean, I know which apps I like. People in chess, I guarantee they don't use Notepad++ for much. That's a great tool that you can use to analyze some games, or at least put your games in when you have a lot of games. Like for me, I use Notepad++. If I don't want to delete it, I don't like a lot of tabs open, so I use Notepad when I know I'm just going to do one game, put it in, take it out, Notepad's closed. Notepad++ also, if you X out, it doesn't clear your sheet. Whereas a Notepad, regular old Notepad that most people use, you have to leave it up if you want your, I'm pretty sure, you have to leave it up. So if I close this, I bet, I'm pretty sure it does that. It's a Microsoft product. Okay, it does stay up. I was wrong on that. But I don't want a bunch of sheets. I don't want a bunch of sheets in Notepad. So I always keep that clean. And Notepad++. I'll leave a bunch of stuff I'm looking at. It works for me. But overall, you don't need any tech training to use all the amazing tools, AI and chess engines.
online lessons, though I haven't taken any. It's great. It's great. Anyone can start mastering stuff. And what's life without isolating yourself in the name of deliberate practice? Okay. Please admire, support American sensation, future of chess, Hans Niemann. It's not about me liking him or disliking him. It's about the fact that he's American. Other countries take care of their own. And you're never going to grow the game, in America at least, by kissing Magnus Carlsen's ass. Magnus Carlsen saw his replacement, not saying Hans Niemann is better. But there's no one better in this world to assess chess talent of a junior than Magnus Carlsen. Because he is the best. He was the best. He was probably going to be the best when he was that age. And Magnus Carlsen saw his replacement. And Carlsen didn't like what he saw. He wanted possibly a kid from India that's more respectful. And yes, sir, that's my idol, and he'll always be my idol. Not someone like Niemann who says, there will be a day I will defeat Magnus and Hikaru. But guess what? You need to beat his ass every time then. That's your job. All Niemann did was the job he was given to the best of his ability. And I'm done with it. America just voted. I think America's done with it. Of other countries taking care of their own and then coming here and expecting us to take care of them, defending their own from abroad, suing us if we prioritize our own people like we're supposed to by law. I think America's done with it. And I hope Hans Niemann, which he seems fairly good looking, I'd say, for a guy. I don't have good taste in men. I don't happen to be gay. Grandmaster is really exciting. I'm just kidding. But he's got some personality. He's somewhat athletic for someone who spends as much time playing chess as he did growing up, which means he could partner with other creators and grow chess to other avenues. And Magnus Carlsen's married now. He's old for chess. He doesn't have the drive he did before he won everything. And guess what? Mainstream doesn't care if you've won or not. If you're big enough to be in that tier where you're making a living, the difference between world champion and the number 10, if the number 10 has a better personality or is more likable, I guarantee you they'll buy from the number 10. Nobody cares from the outside looking in. Before the Niemann stuff, I thought it was cool to meet Magnus Carlsen. I haven't been to a chess event since because Carlsen defamed me. That's mainstream. That's average Joe that you're looking at, as much as you can find one in top-level chess. That's me. Hey, he's a nobody. Hey, I'll never be Magnus. He's won too much. Loser. I'm kind of a loser, I guess, when you think about it. But I could be a winner. Hey, root for Hans Niemann. Hans Niemann can do something. Maybe I can do it. Nobody roots for Goliath. And you pissed off David. I hope he drops you with a fucking pebble. What's going on, brother? You good? Come on, let's go. Let's go. Go walk with that. Here you go. What's wrong? It's like that. Beautiful, beautiful.
Oh yeah. What a mess I made. Isn't it pretty to do so? Sit. Mano, it's good. You need that. You're getting human food. You're saying about. You're saying about.
That was Hans Niemann. Very brief mental health tangent. I'll play a little more chess. and eat my Wheaties. They're not going to do anything to Kramnik. I'm not a big activist in the chess community, but you don't wait until a man is dead or completely broken to do something. And that's the type of stuff. Seems like the nicest guy ever. Everyone says he is. I knew him. I never met the guy. That's the type of stuff that makes newcomers say, well, that's crazy. Keep me out of that mess. Is he'll get a complaint. I worked in corporate. I get it. Okay. Slap on the wrist, but don't pat him on the wrist. Don't slap him on the wrist. Punch him in the face. Along with the call it out stuff, I'm telling you, it's something that is as complicated as chess. It's not pickleball. When you have every reason to quit, and even good chess players have been there probably recently. Kara Nakamura has talked about wanting to quit, and originally wanted to be, I think, a political science major. I think he said. Don't quote me. So a lot of times, even grandmasters have wanted to quit. Even the top grandmasters. Oh yeah, I can manage. Chess is a hard game. And you see that, and then you see the call out pages. And I hate anonymous reporting personally. If the person being reported about anonymously is so dangerous or scary, there should be a consensus from everyone around him or her to just ban him. If he's that bad that you have to do it anonymously or dangerous, going to retaliate, you need to just try to charge him for a crime. I think we should put our faces on accusations. There's nothing more cruel than written words or a faceless video, and everything is going to the internet. We'll all be on the internet. I'm not even sure chess will always be over the board, honestly. And the call it out bullshit on Instagram, I'm not saying you're wrong or some stories didn't happen. I'm saying get me away from you. And if women can just do that, hey, he took too long to offer my draw, he's sexist. Man, I didn't know what I was looking at first. That kid I played today is inexperienced. You don't just take it into your own hands to determine which man is sexist or not, or which man is trying to figure out chess and didn't know what he was looking at. Didn't know it was a draw. And chess games don't last 5 hours. That's a quote. And I could pull it up right now. I'm not going to. And some man might be embarrassed about that. I didn't mean anything by it. I didn't hate women. Or maybe he did hate women, but you still can't do that. Because that's an exaggeration. Chess games on one person's clock don't last 5 hours. He can't make you do anything for 5 hours. And even the longest chess games. And all that stuff adds up. And we're innocent until proven guilty. That means if a guy has bad intentions, if he's hateful, if he's got some major depression issues or mental issues, but he's been able to hide it, he has to show it first. And it's very different. I don't know that Naroditsky seemed autistic or anything, but if a man is bipolar or autistic and hides it, and no one knows, but they hear he's struggling or they hear he has a diagnosis and they start poking him, that is so different than if he or she just starts snapping in public. That is so different. In the corporate America case, we messed up. We can't do that. Dayton was quiet. Well, you met me when I was a kid, and I was around 40 to 50-year-olds. And in an environment where H-1B visa holders were incentivized to overcomplicate things and speak Hindi. So you're speaking a language I don't understand often. People a lot older than me. I don't have a tech background, which now I realize the H-1B visa incentivizes those. They're not immigrants, they're temporary workers, to keep Americans from learning. So all the cards were against me there, and I still found ways to get pretty good. And now that you messed up and I improve and you have no reason, but possibly you could say a bad first impression, depending on who is speaking about me, now you need something. So now you have to make me mad because you were going to get me off the books and not give a reason or give a bullshit reason. Not coach, not do any paperwork. Now we're big and bad, so screw him during COVID lockdown. Well, now I'm mad because you forged documents, you went at my mom. And that is life as a man that women will never understand. Like, women can get wronged and get lied about, and their lives can be made hell. And some men beat women, which is where I just simply admit I don't know what that's like. I've never been in a relationship where I have to worry about her being bigger or stronger than me. But that is not just regular guys you interact with that you have to worry about that. But women, if they're not believed, that they'll just be written off as a little bit dramatic, which is not right if you're telling the truth. and have evidence. But you keep your job. As a man, I'm telling you, Narodisky knew it, even though he was nice, and no women that I heard during the call it out stuff accused him of anything. That's exactly how all men feel. I think even men who happen to be gay, it's a different standard, and a man is completely defenseless. If you're hurting, why didn't you ask for help? You can't. You really can't. And I'm sure chess has a stigma like a lot of physical sports do, where yes, you talk about it, and then people think you're weak or make your life worse or take away opportunities. And women don't go through that. If they whistle blow, that's a totally different thing than just being vulnerable or admitting you're not feeling well. But women are never going to get kicked like that, like they did Daniel, like Carlson did Hans. Even if a woman got to the top, like where she was threatening Magnus consistently, she might deal with sexism. She might deal with things that are inappropriate. But if it gets really bad and it's obvious and it's out in the open, like Kramnik was doing to Narodisky, people would step in. And men do not get that, which is why you cannot accuse men without evidence. And that call it out page, that Girl Boss Chess, and they changed the name to Stem the Gap because they know that just sounds like let's attack men. And I commented, I said, I don't remember exactly, but basically I have a story of mistreatment. And they're probably thinking, is he trying to kiss her ass? He got a story about a girl. I was going to tell an example when I didn't feel super welcome. So, well, it's not anything about fighting misogyny. It's equality, or we want to make sure wrongs are addressed. I'm like, it's not what you're doing. You're just going after men, and some are guilty, and some you have evidence on, and many you don't. And that is the type of stuff when you lose. And I've lost many games to an athlete of the caliber I just beat when I was starting. Many. It was hard, and sometimes I had to go to work, and he was going to go attend the lecture to get better. And I'm like, what am I doing? And then that stupid shit gets in your head of he waited too long to accept a draw. And instead of just assuming he's an asshole, I'm sitting there going, what was it? Was it bishops and knights, or was it a queen, a rook, and 3 pawns? I'm like, I don't know. I would have done the same thing. I might have hesitated. I don't know. And that's the type of stuff that makes people quit. I lost a friend to suicide, which is not my motive for doing this, but it has in some cases kept me going. They did the same thing to Neiman that was done to Narodisky. And for me, it's my third sticky note of the day that I just made. I live one day at a time on sticky notes. My sticky note is a reminder I can get through any day, no matter how terrible life is. For one day, I can do just about anything. It's not an excuse to make people's life hell. Let's see if you can take it. Let's see how hard we can make a sticky note today. But try to be decent. And if you have to beat somebody and psychologically crush them, do it on the board. You do not extend it like Carlson did to where people are violating Neiman's privacy. And combine online with over the board. They're very different things. You don't do that shit. And I don't think you should get to speak on Narodisky's suicide or overdose because he did the same thing to Neiman. He did the same exact thing. There's no difference. There's no difference in what was done. But my iPhone checks, and it's pills. That's what you're from. Oh, pill. We got to discipline him. Ethics committee. You can't be around kids. One of your biggest names. If you would have been a little bit more proactive, maybe he wouldn't have had to do any pills to cope with the Kramnik stuff. And maybe he would have felt okay talking about it, getting help getting off the pills, whatever he was doing, or at least tracking it, saying, I'm working on this. I don't have to stop my career. I don't have to stop doing what I love. I can work through this. And that's my sticky notes. If it gets too messy, which a lot of times after chess, I'm very stressed. I just want to start the day over, even if it's 10 p.m. Okay, well, there was 2 when I started my first one. So there's 2, and then tally mark start over, so 4 total. And now there's 4. And blank iPhones, but there are 3 because I check my iPhone 3 times today. And I'm happy on a new sticky note, no matter what happens, even if I had lost today. Life is perfect. Being a man is so fun. Wheaties.
because working nights, my sleep schedule is all types of messed up. And also going back to the Narodisky thing, I don't want the world to be, or America to be, at the point where I have to view my friend as a loser to survive or thrive in the world. That's my friend who took his life, unfortunately. And it's almost kind of like hazing, in a way, for men and how we end up viewing mental health if we want to be successful at all. And what do I mean by hazing? Well, at first, we're young, and usually, until we're at least in college, we don't know any friends who have struggled majorly with depression, let alone taking their lives. So, if it's brought up at all, or if an acquaintance, a more distant person we know, not a friend, struggled or took his or her own life, we'll hear about it and we'll assume, hell, bend the stigma, make it better. And then when hits closer to home, it's one of our friends or family members. Oh shit, now really I'm an advocate. And there's that phase where you're just really an emotional advocate, and you're sad, and then you're mad. And then you do all the things most mental health advocates do. And then if you're smart or really care, you'll read, you'll reflect, and try to do something productive instead of starting a course or PowerPoint presentation or a YouTube channel about mental health. Oh no, I want to help. And then you're going to give young men terrible advice. Why do you think that guy didn't ask for help? Why do you think Matt didn't ask for help? Then you're going to go tell other young men to ask for help. Do you know why? You stupid. You know what? You're his friend. I'm trying to help Matt. That's why I'm going to help the next guy. But by giving bad information, it is very rarely, I should say, physical pain that leads to a man being in that dark of a mental state. Nor is it straightforward infliction of emotional pain. It is probably not always getting cheated on, getting fired wrongfully. The common things we think drive a man to suicide. I think it is being told someone's going to give a fuck, then finding out someone or everyone, when you need help, doesn't give a fuck, or at that stage in their life isn't willing to show they give a fuck. That is what kills men. And I'm talking, it's easy to write, let's say, with Luigi Mangione often, and I'm getting to my point about the hazing, as mentally ill. Okay, maybe, but a lot of people hate healthcare. I think that he was isolated and very intelligent, and something flipped in him and activated some type of genetic mental illness. But many people much more genetically mental ill, and we don't know. I don't have a scan of Luigi's brain. I don't have a SPECT scan or anything like that on Luigi. But there are men who are of similar backgrounds as Luigi, with more of a genetic mental condition, if you will, who do not shoot CEOs. And we'll never know exactly what happened in Luigi's brain, of course. But to just tell young men to be vulnerable or talk about their mental health, I guarantee the first question, if they get treatment from other than a therapist they're paying to treat them, the question will be, do you have thoughts of harming yourself or hurting others? And you might be like, they're throwing a punch. I don't know. Why are we tying violence to others and killing myself together? I needed help. That's just how it works for men. For women, I understand women attempt suicide, I think at a much higher rate, but fail. And men are successful in their suicide at a much higher rate. But it's not like, is this woman going to murder somebody? And of course, if that's the question a man is asked, he's never going to tell anyone he's hurting, ever. If someone would have found out Narodisky was feeling that dark in the Narodisky case, I hate using this example because I don't know the guy, I didn't know the guy, and forced him into treatment,
And they would have asked him, thoughts of harming yourself, thoughts of harming others. Of course, Nereidus would be like, I don't want to hurt anybody. I'm out. I'm not getting treatment. I'm fine. Let me out. No more treatment. Whereas a woman, unless it's just protocol for that doctor, nobody's asking or rechecking if she's a threat to anyone else. And that's one reason men just shut up. But the reason men kill themselves is certainly because, overwhelmingly, not because no one cared, not because they even had bad parents or genetic mental illness. Plenty of men without a genetic mental illness kill themselves and harm others. But it is when they were told someone would care. And when they needed anyone to care, there was no one to care. If you tell them people don't care or not everyone cares or at a young age, tell them the truth, which is people are stupid. When we're younger, we don't have life experience. Not bad, but some people will be very, very hateful towards you, especially if you show vulnerability or talk about your mental health. That will maximize the chances they get help if they really need it in the right ways. They don't, and more importantly, they don't ask the wrong people or tell the wrong people about how they're feeling. An ignorant frat boy, a girlfriend. You should never talk to a girl about it, ever. I don't care what she says, ever. Not ever. Maybe a female therapist, though I personally would struggle to see a female therapist. Because all it takes is one person reacting appropriately. And then you have that combination of factors, which is I feel terrible, life circumstances, and shock. If someone says, suck it up, you pussy, you'll go kill yourself. It's like, if you weren't counting on that person to be there, and they say that, it's fine. It's at least not going to end your life. But if you were told to do certain things, and it doesn't turn out, people don't react the way you were told they would, that's what kills men. And the call it out movement, that's just what kills men. You never back, my Graham said, you never ever back a person, even if you don't like them, even if they're a jerk, even if you got no circumstance, do you back a man into a corner he can't get out of? Doesn't matter. And if you do, you got to fix it. You got to fix it, even if you hate him, even if he deserves it. You never, ever back a man into a corner he can't get out of. Because when you never know what he'll do, you never know what someone's going through. And it could be you one day. And that's what the call it out movement does to men. Didn't fix anything. My first thought is, it's not I'm worried about getting reported. It's if I get reported and they actually do something to me and there's no evidence, I'm out. I don't want to be around chess anyway. And a lot of single women are chess influencers. I guarantee you, if I find them attractive, I'll be telling my chess jokes, winking and playing them guitar. George Strait, if you like, ladies. Okay? Because there's a picture of some of you in a bikini by a chessboard. And your boobs are, you got sand on the beach hanging over your chessboard. So I wonder what it'd be like to have sex with you. You cannot go after men until you fix that. That's just so stupid. And the call it out movement puts men in a situation where we're angry if we defend ourselves and we're innocent. If we don't defend ourselves and we're innocent, well, he's probably guilty. That's why he's not defending himself. Not a little angry, but so you don't have a lot of options. Just remember, men's mental health is a very serious thing. And take the Marshawn Nealon case, for example. To close this rant, I compared his case to Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs III in the previous stream. Those are football players. Henry Ruggs III drove drunk very fast. I forget how many he killed, maybe just one. I don't know if he killed his girlfriend and the passenger, but he killed somebody. And it was a dumb thing, and he's still in prison for it. He might get a second chance in the NFL, might not. I hope he does. Though driving drunk is the dumbest thing one could do. And Marshawn Nealon was speeding about the same like Henry Ruggs was, I think. Difference is he was going through a mental health breakdown. And I think Ruggs was drunk. But they still were a risk to society. If Marshawn Nealon had not killed himself, he would have been charged for crimes. That is the reality of mental health for men. You can say be vulnerable, say talk about it. You will be associated with a criminal. It's just the way it is. And okay, Dayton, that's hateful. That's just your opinion. No, if you don't get that way, then you can be a mental health advocate, and you can be. People can say what they want. You'll be soft. You will not get support. And in the case of employment, especially in certain corporate pockets of corporate America, you're a weakness to be discarded if you show that you care too much about things like mental health or talk about your own. So the hazing process is complete for me. I have to accept, in some ways, I guess men who kill themselves are, I hate to say losers in any way, but that belief would at least keep a man from, or possibly keep him from going down that path. Is sorry that happened, and I want to help, but I can't. The way the world is, it's not worth it. I'll just do what it takes to become not bitter, and that might be being mean, but if you give sympathy to a man who took his life, I think it's hard, if you care about him, to not try to see his perspective and go down that rabbit hole yourself. And if you want to do much with your life, at least with the boomers in charge, the ones, if they're anything like the ones that I work for, promise, teach them a lesson. If anything, sympathy will come depending on how much hardship they think you've had in your life, and no one knows what someone's going through or has went through. Dad was on drugs. Some people, maybe they get a mentor as a result that is good for them. I'm not saying that that's an advantage, but you can't just assume that everyone whose dad did drugs or beat them deserves more sympathy than someone like me who has good parents. You can't do that. And even though you might be right, and usually you are right, to give sympathy to someone who had a harder upbringing, you cannot start doing that. And that's the best a man can hope for in mental health, is able to give sympathy when they think you deserve it. And unfortunately, I recommend just learning from what happened. Punishing, that's the main difference between me and people who are kind of too hard or old school about mental health. It's not okay to talk about it. If you killed a man, he knocked on my door and I didn't listen and I didn't text him back, or I wouldn't have cheated. I wouldn't have. Oh my gosh, I did killed him. I'll be a mental health advocate. I'll tell the next man to do the same thing that guy did. I expect a different result. That's just stupid. That's stupider than the old school people. That's meaner, actually, to be sorry and then give bad advice emotionally to cure your guilt from a past. That's meaner than old school boomers who just say, suck it up, no matter if it's COVID lockdown, no matter if it's a war, don't care. So my biggest difference is I think you should punish. I think you should punish people who are sorry, even if they're genuinely sorry. Like Kramnik, he's not sorry in the Naroditsky case. I think they shouldn't be invited to the funeral if they feel guilty, but they still played a role, even if they find out on an accident. I think you should punish. You should rewind time. You should punish severely. You should make examples of people who were involved. And if they knew the man was hurting and kept doing it, like in the Naroditsky case, you just punish. But starting fundraisers or courses about mental health or raising awareness, people aren't stupid. It's 2025. Even super religious people that believe in miracles, they come from the sky. They understand genetic mental illnesses exist. So you don't need to do anything aside from punish past mistakes. If you are guilty, you need to raise your kids to be better. Be better if another circumstance comes along. Don't do the call it out bullshit. And like I mentioned, Luigi, I'm not comparing Luigi Mangione to people with no criminal records, but remember that everyone is just as human. You can't predict who's about to snap. There's a million people that look like Luigi and have a background like Luigi that don't do that. You can't start guessing who has issues. And plan this rant, but I hope there's some ideas in there that were valuable. All right, I will look at that later. I won't clear my history before bed like I usually do, which is my final nighttime routine. Keep my brain from going completely nuts. Put a little bit of blitz chest. I'm taking. I have my pen still. I don't like clutter.
The Scandinavian is hell. There's nothing happy about Scandinavian. I want to know who. I want to know who invented it. Now you're going to give me all. I've seen this version of it. Maybe I'll like it. Unlikely because again, it's the Scandinavian. There's simply nothing to enjoy about the Scandinavian defense. It's unhappy. Okay, fine. This is getting weird. Okay, so here, here. All right. Boy, I don't know what the hell you're doing to me here. But I have to play that. See the Scandinavian, even when it's a new line that might be fine, I just hate it. I just don't like the Scandinavian. I can't go back. This is bad. If I win this thing, it'd be a miracle. Ah! This is pathetic. It's Scandinavian. I just can't do it. It's an unpleasant experience for me every single time. All you can do is laugh, right? It's just my least favorite thing in the world. Oh. Oh my gosh. Scandinavian messes with you. Never been a happy day for me. One of them used to play the Scandinavian. Even a sticky note couldn't get me through it. Ah. I hate this opening. You make life unpleasant for me. Just take it. Let's get my clutter off here and get to 2100. We're close. I got a little excited. Okay. See if I had time to think. That's why I don't worry about openings, because over the board, if someone plays a Scandinavian, I don't know if it's played at the top level or not. It's not that. It doesn't seem that good. I could think through it, but in speed chess, when you throw it at me, and especially when you throw a different line at me, I just hate you. I hate you. Ricky won, and then logical, probably regardless. And I gotta not shut my brain down when I see the Scandinavian. I just I'll smoke marijuana, but Scandinavian makes me want to. Shut my brain off for a minute. Who started this damn thing? There's the center counter. Don't do it, Mr. Gotham. This is what we're up against. Yeah. That's a hard spot to be in. Under code BO1. Encyclopedia chess openings, okay. Oldest opening. Good, let's retire the damn thing. No. No. Leave it. They talk about it as if these days it's such a surprise that most don't even play it. I mean, to bring, if it's that notable of a game, if you had to go back that long to find a very, very notable game of the current top players, it's probably not played often. It feels like the England Gambit when, on the rare occasion I hear it talked about. I googled a lot of the openings back before I moved to St. Louis. You know, the England Gambit is playable, but at the top level it almost never is. Sounds like people aren't too high in the Scandinavian either. Yes, I could think through it if I had time.
Let's get this one short, man. It's been a good night. A productive night, Deb. Got through the group lecture. We walked a couple times. Wrap it up with some good online chess. My puppy's in the booth with me. Say hi, Nova. Roof, roof. You're a panty machine. You work so hard. Great job. Love you. And I always do my second review at least a day after my initial review. Okay. This opponent is appearing to be afraid of me. That's okay. No, my dog's with me. Look out. Just castle. Okay, usually I like to just solidify those pawns. Let's go back. Let's be up a pawn. Nice solid pawns here. Of course I can. Yeah, fine. Fine. Why would you do such a thing? Why would you do that? We'll just fix it. Yeah, no problem. No problem. So lazy. Oh, I need my knight to defend anymore. Whoa. I'm getting a little crazy. A little crazy. Let's cut your dark bishop off. Render it useless. Okay, where do I want my knight to be? It's not a bad square. I don't care if you get here. Let's just draw back for now. Whoa, that would have been bad. Okay. You do a great job, Nova. She's so pretty. I think I'd even damage. Well, that's not damaging my pawn structure. It kind of is. Speed up a little bit. I can go here. Otherwise, I'll end up going this way to here. The king's pretty safe. Okay, I'll happily. Yeah, I can still do it.
Oh my gosh, Dayton. Jeez. Be okay. Barely. I'm out of time. Misread that. Back ranks week. Oh shit. Gosh darn it. Let's focus. Let's wake up for a few games here. Yeah, then you take, I know. Thanks for the cheap win. That's what I was going for. I should have a poster that says, "Don't play like this." And I feel like doing silly stuff. And the fact that it worked is just so sad. That's how I was feeling. So we did it. It's 11:02, man. Chess does take up your whole day. Even when it's one game or shorter time controls. It just has a way of doing that. How you doing, Norman? She's so good. So how's the bishop ever going to attack from that direction? Oh, geez. Terrible job. Wow. Nope, now you can just take it. Good Lord. I knew it was sleep. You're no good. No. No, that wasn't good. You might be fine. Just take with your king, or you should. So that way you can't take my pawn. No, stop it, bro. Stop it, baby. You're crazy. You're so pretty. Great job. I love you. Should be good. So you have to check. Now you have to move. Right? Oh man. Oh. Gosh damn it. Gosh. So you just never know. You never know what's about to happen. It's an adventure every time. Oh man. And then you gotta mess me up for that, but you didn't. So you get in a bad habit of playing how your opponents are. So let's just kill that now. Over the board, I lock in. I drive there. I get right. Get my mind right here. I'm just a little bit out of it, to be honest with you. Yeah, crazy. The Night Stalker, nice to meet you. I feel like we met before, probably. Oh, I know I'm supposed to take the pawn, but I'm also know how I've been playing, and we should probably scare king safe. Okay. Oh, shit. Let's threaten something, that way we can try to get this pawn or that pawn. Okay. Why wouldn't I do that? Boom. Okay, fine. So you want to go here and try to use that rook. I get it. Can I do that? Let's do it. Feeling frisky. Well, certainly. Night Stalker might have got lucky here. Okay, whoa. I take. Yeah, you'll take with check. That sucks for me a little bit. All right, fine. These two pawns are still probably better. Whoa. What? Why would you do that? The Night Stalker's busy stalking some stuff, I guess. Cool.
Gosh, I hate it so much when I make that mistake. It's all fine. I just focus and I don't do that. Gosh. Wow. Interesting. It's a bold strategy, very bold strategy. I need to be here. That way, if I should just go backwards. I don't know why I wouldn't. I can get away with that. I'll probably stack if you try to trap me. Which way do I want to stack here? Probably not the best way to do that. By you. Actually, a terrible way to do that. Bring in another piece. That's how we do it. Yeah. Let's look at how to do that properly, though, because the opponent played it horribly. And I'm out of it. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go to sleep. We're not going to wear ourselves out anymore tonight. It's been a good day. Been a good day. We got to get out of the phone booth. Play some over-the-board chess this weekend, hopefully. And get control of my online habits. Expect me to go live occasionally, especially on colder days where I can't run or walk my dog outside. And expect a monthly recap of my over-the-board games. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy my content or if you are looking to improve your chess as an adult without investing too much time. I'll get you up to speed quickly.